In a week marked by intense political maneuvering and revelations, significant developments are unfolding across the American political landscape, affecting budget negotiations, accountability for past administrations, and public health. Congress is grappling with a crucial budget bill while new light is shed on the cognitive state of former President Joe Biden through leaked audio. Simultaneously, the public is processing the recent disclosure of his cancer diagnosis, raising questions about transparency and leadership. These intertwined narratives are fueling debates on truth governance and the well-being of the nation's leaders. Navigating fiscal futures, Republican unity, and calls for accountability. The Republican-led House of Representatives is currently engaged in intricate negotiations over a critical budget bill, with South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace expressing both hope and concern for its passage. Speaking on a Sunday night, Mace predicted, "I believe and I hope and I pray that it will pass the House Budget Committee," noting the unusual timing of the vote. As a fiscal conservative, Mace empathizes with budget hawks who seek significant spending reductions, acknowledging the need to ensure we're reducing spending. She also expressed sympathy for representatives pushing for SALT provisions moderated in the bill. Despite the internal disagreements, Mace highlighted the monumental nature of this legislative effort, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deliver on President Trump's America First agenda. She stressed the necessity of substantial cuts, advocating for $2 to $2.5 trillion in cuts, and underscored the importance of securing every single Republican on board with their vote to prevent the bill from failing. Mace also suggested the possibility of multiple reconciliation bills if a full agreement cannot be reached, now viewing this current bill as merely the first step. She hinted that President Trump's intervention might be necessary to bring everybody together and ensure the bill's success. Echoing these sentiments, North Carolina Republican Congressman Brad Knott, a member of the House Judiciary Committee, confirmed optimism for the budget bill's passage. House Speaker Mike Johnson addressed concerns about GOP holdouts, like Chip and Ralph, noting ongoing conversations to work through details, particularly concerning the ability of the states to retool their systems and ensure the verification process is to make sure that all the new laws and all the new safeguards that we're placing can actually be enforced. Congressman Knott stated he expects the Budget Committee to pass the bill, emphasizing the Republican conference has been unified in our efforts to get this bill done and to get the best possible deal done for the American people. He pointed to the intense, furious, and dizzying negotiations focused on guarding tax dollars and implementing common-sense things like get illegals off of the public dime in terms of health care, in terms of other benefits. Knott expressed confidence that the bill would meet Speaker Johnson's Memorial Day deadline for House passage, noting 90% unification on its core components, including taxes regulation securing our border. He believes remaining details on the edge will be resolved, especially concerning the back-ending of Medicaid and some of the tweaks. Knott highlighted that the bill aims to make President Trump's legislative agenda permanent, and affirmed that Trump, as a pragmatist who knows how to make a deal, is very quick to get involved when he's needed to work through negotiations with holdouts. Unveiling the truth. Revelations from Biden's audio tapes and calls for congressional inquiry. Beyond the budget debates, both Congresswoman Mace and Congressman Knott addressed the profound implications of leaked audio recordings involving former President Joe Biden and the special counsel investigating him. Congresswoman Mace was not surprised by the tape's revelations, asserting that it just goes to show the cover-up by the Biden administration, by the former president, by the mainstream media. She accused them of having all covered for Joe Biden for the last 4 years. Mace explained that after the transcript of the interview was released, there was a concerted effort by Republicans to get the actual tapes released, which she said was resisted for a clear reason, because of his cognitive decline. She bluntly stated, "You can't auto-pin your way through the Constitution, which is what he attempted to do." Mace concluded that the audio provides more proof that Republicans were right, Donald Trump was right, and that there was a massive cover-up on the ability for the President of the United States, former president, to actually act as president. She firmly supports investigating anyone who tried to cover this up, believing that if an investigation had happened earlier, it would have been in a constitutional crisis. Mace stressed the importance of truth and honesty with the American public, regardless of political affiliation, because the American people deserve the truth and nothing but the truth. Congressman Brad Knott further elaborated on the fallout from the Biden audio tapes, reacting to Virginia Senator Tim Kaine's seemingly evasive answer regarding the tapes. Knott contended that Senator Kaine knows full well that there was an active deceit that was put upon the American people. He accused the Biden White House of working in concert with the mainstream media to shield a very obvious truth. Knott found it alarming that they are now attempting to claim surprise by the revelations, stating emphatically that everyone knew that Joe Biden was not functioning at a full capacity and was not at his peak form. Despite this widely perceived reality, the media and his political allies were not truthful or straight with the American people, which Knott deems a very concerning reality. As a member of the House Judiciary Committee, Knott suggested that hearings are a very real possibility and a needed review to investigate who was running the country at the time and who was behind the desk, who was making the decisions, and why was it kept from the American people. Beyond politics, former President Biden's cancer diagnosis and transparency concerns. Adding another layer to the public discourse surrounding former President Joe Biden, news recently broke of his prostate cancer diagnosis, raising questions about transparency and public trust. Peter Doocy, a prominent commentator, expressed sadness over the diagnosis and noted that, just months after he left office, Joe Biden is diagnosed with a form of prostate cancer that apparently has been with him for a while. Doocy highlighted that the public only knows what we're told. He recalled that White House officials assured us through basically July of last year that he was healthy enough to continue serving. However, after July 21st of last year, that's when he dropped out. There was a lot less scrutiny on whether or not on his physicals and the specifics. This leads to uncertainty about how long they've actually known about it. Cancer, Doocy noted, is essential to Joe Biden's story, given his past personal tragedy involving his son's battle with the disease and the impact that it had on him. He recalled that as President Joe Biden did everything that he could to try to keep himself as healthy as possible, even having a trainer that was coming over to the White House twice a week, and requiring special permission to use a Peloton because of the network. It's also worth pointing out that the news of this diagnosis was the very first email that I received from the personal office of Joe Biden and the new spokesman that they've hired, post-presidency, after months of silence. Doocy also recalled Biden's past role as vice president under President Obama, where he was put in charge of what they called a sort of a moonshot cancer initiative, aiming to end cancer once and for all in this country and the world, an initiative inspired a lot by the terrible experience that he had watching his son grow weaker and weaker, and then eventually pass away from cancer. While this was a significant topic early in his presidency, it got sidetracked with other things, and we heard less about it. The official statement from the former president's office revealed that last week President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9 grade group 5 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the statement added that the cancer appears to be hormone-sensitive, which allows for effective management. Ducey concluded that despite the sad news, knowing Biden's connections to cancer researchers, he is likely to receive the very best advice and the very best treatment. These ongoing political and personal narratives weave together to paint a complex picture of leadership and accountability in Washington. As the nation watches these developments unfold, one might consider, how might the confluence of legislative battles, revelations about past administrations, and public health concerns reshape public trust in government and influence the political discourse moving forward?